We're not wasting any time this week, so if you missed the previous video, check it out here. Coming off of the first EyeToy game and right into its first sequel, I should point out that of the 3 games in this trilogy, EyeToy Play 2 is the one game I didn't own when I was younger, and up until now, I've maybe played this for 20 minutes, max. Immediately the theming has been changed and the various characters have been replaced by this little robot explaining everything to us. Can I just say though that the first thing I noticed is that this menu is so stiff, much worse than the first game. Look at how long it takes to scroll through all of the different modes. It kills your arm, which is something you really don't want right before you're about to stand here for an hour or two waving your arms around. There is also no profiles, which isn't a big deal, though I will miss seeing this face on boot up. But let's just take a look at the modes here. We'll start off with air guitar. It's boring as fuck. I mean, the concept is fine, I guess, but again, you're just standing here, holding your arm up and strumming. After a few rounds, we get to a boss battle, and it's pretty desperate. A boring memory game where you hit the same notes as the other character. Should be fine enough, but you do 2 notes and stand there for hours waiting for the riff to be over. Come on, who fucked this? Instead of short-timed mini-games like last time, we get the different themes of sport, music, and occupations, I guess, each with several levels and spin-offs before a returning stage that gets harder every time. I do actually like this. It kind of feels like a game. It gets very suggestive with the motions you do, requiring both wanking yourself and even others. Now that's a party game, and you'd be surprised how quickly your arms get tired doing this constantly. The progression and gradual increase in difficulty is certainly welcome, but unfortunately, I find a lot of the levels to be really boring. There are some interesting ideas like moving down a plinko board, collecting items, staying within a certain space on screen as everything moves around you, and the boxing, which is a huge improvement compared to the previous version. We've got multiple opponents, training stages, and it's an excuse to bounce around the room more and move your body. You can even throw in a few kicks if you're keen, and getting a knockout victory earns an instant replay. This is the perfect example of presentation taking something simple and making it great, a theme that carries over to the occupational games. Preparing food in a diner, building shit and sneaking through an enemy base as a secret agent are certainly the standouts of the selection. It's just a shame I can't stand many of the others for more than 10 minutes. Half of the game is bogged down with slow, repetitive, sport and music stuff that just isn't exciting. Table tennis doesn't even have music and it's impossible to lose, while the returning Kung Fu mode is ruined by being slower and more formulaic instead of mindless arm waving. I never thought I'd prefer it, but here we are. It really is disappointing because of the great stuff this sequel offers to the world of EyeToy. A change in style, progressing into actual continuous games with some clever uses of the motion controls, but also some really interesting stuff elsewhere. The Playroom has had a massive overhaul this time around. Solar System attempts a shoddy green screen effect that allows you to experience different planets and their various filters. Not very exciting gameplay wise, but tech wise, it's fascinating. We've also got a new feature in SpyToy. It's essentially a personal security system for your bedroom. It'll record photos or video based on motion within the room, disguising the TV as being turned off. For kids, that is such a great feature to play about with, until they leave it on while they go to school and come home to find mummy and daddy getting freaky in their room. Not to mention actually using this will kill the disc, which explains why it froze on so many occasions trying to play this. They are onto something with these features though, never more true than the final talking point. Now if you're familiar with this channel, You may recognise the name EyeToy Cameo. It's something I've talked about briefly before. The game scans your face and turns it into a 3D model to be used elsewhere across various games. Now, unfortunately, my disc is scratched thanks to SpyToy, so I can't use the feature again. But luckily enough, I do have an old Cameo save file on this memory card, so this will be the first time I've ever used it within an actual game mode. And as you can see, it leaves much to be desired. I don't understand. How does such a cool concept like creating a 3D model of yourself within a video game from 2004 get wasted on something as worthless as this? 30 seconds in and I'm over it. What the hell? The problem with all these features, they're not utilised, instead just side options. Why this green screen idea wasn't used with respective themes, and the Cameo feature used as its own game mode, going through fending off killer heads, I'll never know. And the video messaging from the first game, why wasn't that improved on? This game has been one-upped by the Game Boy camera 6 years later. Unfortunately, EyeToy Play 2 is nothing too special, with less enjoyable levels but some being really fun, interesting tech ideas that aren't capitalised on, and the same round-robin multiplayer from before. This entire thing just kind of evens out into a pretty average title. EyeToy Play 2 gets 5 out of 10. I'm sure some people out there who've grown up with this may disagree with that, but from a technical standpoint, there really isn't much here worth checking out in my opinion, as they're still trying to find their footing. But with only one more game to check out, let's see if they can save themselves from an otherwise mediocre score. Right from the start, we get the happy atmosphere and finally, an improved interface. Buttons can still be a little fussy at times, but rather than cycling through all the different modes left to right, we've simply got 3 categories: music, sport, and variety, all adopting the continuous experiences introduced in the second game. Now, I always start EyeToy 3 off by playing Maestro. If you've seen the video I play with myself from a few years back, you'll know why. It's because if I ever want to stand a chance at beating my high score at this fucking game, then I need to be in pristine physical condition. I've played this so much in my youth, most of the high score photos are just the most amazing thing you'll ever see. Look at this dumb little fuck, how adorable. For the 3rd time in a row now, majority of the games featured revolve around timed motion with the arms, but to this game's credit, it does encourage much more movement with some more intense options that really start to bring the sweat out of you. The only negative I have for the EyeToy in general is the motion controls. Since movement with EyeToy is based on overall motion detection, running isn't the most effective method of running. Instead, it's much faster and more crucial to beating high scores that you flap your wings like a fucking bird learning to fly. Again, it looks like you have problems. While I didn't have much to say about the music levels last time, here in 3, they're seriously improved on. They all keep a fast pace, there is no downtime, and they're increasingly more challenging and actually require a bit of mastery. But then again, wanking will get you far in the EyeToy world, so practice makes perfect. With only 3 different themes, there is surprisingly a nice variety here. The easiest way to explain it is that each category feature an easy, medium, and intense challenge. The least popular game here though has to be Beauty Salon. I'm just assuming anyway, because I used to play the shit out of this particular mode when I was younger, and now I can see why.
Alright ladies, it's time to get fabulous!
Jesus! Oh, fuck, right. You ready for this shit? I don't think you're ready. I've got a style I think you're gonna love. Look at that. Jesus. Oh, massage! I've seen some of those videos before. They don't normally end too well. Right, let's have a go. Almost done, lady. You're almost there, don't worry. Oh, look at this, double. Double! Oh, gorgeous. Come on, get those daggers off. God, I feel sick after that. Ah! Get it out! No! Get out of here, you monster! Here we go. What? Look at her leg! She's been fucking grilled. State of it. Gotta get that last little drop out. There we go. Fuck, I didn't make quota! I didn't make quota. There's all those fussy bitches who want all fucked up dog shit fucking styles. What the fuck, man? Dick sauce. The only thing in 3 that's kind of a letdown is, again, all of the cool tech not being utilised. But that honestly doesn't hold it back. Volleyball has one of the fastest and most exciting game modes ever, Speedball. I wish there was an option to do this for as long as possible to see how long you can last, because it's top 3 things to do here. Bowling is also fun, but not with this fucking audio glitch!
Somebody's been creeping with my mojo.
Jesus, that's fucking excruciating! Jesus Christ, how the fuck is everyone that can play this fucking racket? This disc is butchered. Just proof I played this frequently over a decade ago. And finally, we reach touchdown. Typically by this point, EyeToy has taken its toll and broken my body down. I can't skim over it though, because credit where credit is due, this is possibly the best EyeToy minigame out of the Play trilogy, because it's great at getting you moving. The entire point of this peripheral, so you can't pass it up. But out of all the improvements being made here and London Studios' ideas finally being grounded, the biggest leap in quality by far is the multiplayer experience. Finally. Now let's face the facts here. I'm lonely. Not too many people I've come across have actually had the stomach to play this with me because it's too cringe, wah! But these are the people who miss the point. Some of my best memories are playing this with family and friends all the time 10 years ago, but most people just aren't interested these days, so I can't really show off too much. Just know that the multiplayer both features its own individual Mario Party-esque marathons, as well as allowing you to play the actual game modes at the same time, finally giving this series true multiplayer. And all that's left now is the Playroom, actually middle ground in comparison to the others. No SpyToy or Cameo, and the green screen feature is worse somehow, as moving causes it to fucking break. But there are some fun camera tools to mess about with, and even this card scanning thing, where you can see some conceptual stuff and trailers for other EyeToy games that look pretty interesting. Overall, the EyeToy experience, while far from perfect, is still as charming and enjoyable as it ever was. The primitive but also kind of revolutionary tech showcased is remarkably entertaining, especially returning to it every so often for a trip down memory lane. As for the third game here, nostalgia aside, it is certainly the superior of the 3 in my opinion, simply for its amazing multiplayer and overall gameplay finally being grounded. EyeToy Play 3 gets 6 out of 10. The idea of getting lazy bums up off their lazy fat asses is certainly an important idea going forward if you ask me, and this game has done wonders for its progress. Whew. All of this EyeToy lately really pulled back the curtain on my physical ability. I should probably do something about that. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share. I'm Square Eye Jack, and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.